there earlier just with A-League Grand Final and everything. It's been nightmare. So let me know when you're ready. So testing. 1, 2, 3. Standard comms voice, standard comm voice. Bit more exciting voice, very exciting voice. Awesome. of the Australia Cup. For the hosts, Avondale FC, back-to-back comfortable wins over Altona City and Westgate have delivered them to this point, whilst Manningham United engage in a goal fest with Chisholm United in their last meeting after defeating the Bayside Argonauts in their previous encounter. Chilly night here in Melbourne's north, as you would have maybe expected of this time of year. However, mercifully, the winds have dropped, the rain has subsided, and we can look forward to what should hopefully be an entertaining night's worth of football. Avondale FC, of course, no stranger to Dockerty Cup success, no stranger to Australia Cup success, advancing through to the national stages on several occasions in the past. Manningham City, meanwhile, Manningham United, I should say, meanwhile, well, they've knocked off a State League 2 side on the way here, a State League 1 side on the way here, but now the fierce test of the Avengers await Coach George Karkalidis' side. He's in his 5th year as Manningham boss, and if he can engineer an upset tonight, well, he has steered them to the NPL competition last year, winning promotion from what is now the VPL 1 back in 2023. They're back in the VPL 1 this year, but this would be another fine achievement for Manningham United, who get us underway wearing red and white stripes, kicking from left to right of your screen in this opening stanza. Avondale wearing their home blue kits, kicking from right to left. It's the visitors making an early foray into the higher ranked side's penalty area. One repulsed by Avondale. Yui Ahmed on it, and he's going to knock it upfield for Stefan Zini. We'll take you through the lineups in a second after letting this play develop. Stefan Zini carrying the ball inside, carrying his man with him in the end. Eventually the ball is laid off. It was Jack Wardle that he just grabbed his shirt and took him with him. Wardle, who's now on the ball. So for Avondale, as one might expect from a cup fixture, they've made a change in goal from their league play. Mayan gets the start over Tom Manos. Stefan Zini, Kerr, Yate Towns. Blake Carpenter comes in for his first minutes of the season. Certainly player of Carpenter's calibre. It almost feels unfair to be able to insert him into what is an already high-flying Avondale unit. Ethan Pisani, Emlyn Wellsmore in there as well, as is Luca Tavir, Yui Ahmed, Kalalu Kamara and Kian Kuba. Manningham bursting forward. George Massa on the ball. Will stick with play. As the Manningham attacker looking for the byline and then sending it across the penalty area. Dangerous looking. Avondale able to get numbers across. Tavir plays it back. Watch slid across the field. Avondale, one would imagine, would have the lion's share of possession in this game. Small gets Carpenter. That's a clever ball through. Now bursting upfield is Luca Tavir, carrying it inside. Luca Tavir can hit them. Instead, he's going to look to lay it off for the run of Kerr, who cleans up. Jordan Old in goal. The play on is the call. Jordan Old in goal for Manningham. Marco Tavale in front of him. Maseo Jones. Abias Burakuro. Josh Rees, Ben Everson, Hayden Cross, Kazra Karamad, Jake Daniel, Jack Wardle, and George Massa riding out the Manningham side, looking to spring the upset here this evening. Massa once again on the ball, carrying it upfield, ran into a wall of blue shirts. Ben Everson in there as well, trying to drag it back. The Manningham skipper. Will have to make do with a throw-in, will the visitors. Just locked in the corner there was Manningham, and they're going to give the ball back to Avondale. Goal kick.
Hey! 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 Josh, into the box! Good! Marco, let's go man to man. George, man to man. Yeah, George. What do you see, AB? You're good, you're good. Worry about your man. Ben, we go, it's short! We go!
Taken short by Avondale. Up comes the Manningham press. Yate Towns was under pressure from Cross, was able to get the pass away. Cuba coming up with it for Avondale. Well, the ball is taken away from him strongly, and Manningham potentially able to break in transition. No, they're going to be forced backwards and will knock it around, look to build up gradually. Tavella bustled off the ball, and Avondale will have it. Towns sends it across. Carpenter. Luca Tavir. Just behind Stefan Zinni and Avondale. Still very early doors, but being frustrated by Manningham. VPL one side coming into this game in a decent run of form. Haven't actually lost in their last 5 in league play, getting a 1-0 win over the Eastern Lions on the weekend, a week after holding league leaders Melbourne City to a 1-1 draw down there at Casey Fields. Actually taken points off City in both of their meetings this season. They met back in round 1 of the campaign. Stage a late comeback against Alessandro Diamanti's young side. Kalulu Kamara on the ball before he knocks it across. Stefan Zinni on the left. Masha closes him down. Ahmed. They get back off for Carpenter. Displaying patience are the Avengers. Also displaying a good defensive shape is Manningham. All up for grabs, ricochets away from Yate Towns. Luca Tavir on the scene, knocks it across to Kerr. Fancy footwork from the winger. He's just going to boot it into space. Superb vision and placement to pick out Stefan Zinni. Zinni trying to drag it low along the turf, pick out the run of Yusuf Ahmed arriving at the top of the 6-yard box. And the Avengers will have to make do with a corner. Cuba to take. High ball towards the top of the 6-yard box. Knocked on goal. Jordan Olds makes the collection at his knees and he springs Manningham forward quickly. Ben Everson looking up, searching for options. Mass is the most advanced man for him, but was close down before he could lay off the pass. George Massa debuting as a 16-year-old for Manningham, setting a new record at the club for youngest senior debut. excitement surrounding him at Timber Ridge. Avondale coming forward once more. Wellsmore knocking it upfield after going on a bit of a run, only for the move to peter out. Everson, surrounded by multiple Avengers. And eventually the weight of numbers rings true. Free kick for Avondale, taken quickly. Bassani. Kalaloo Kamara. Coach Zoran Markowski's Avondale. They've had to deal with defensive injuries throughout the campaign. Daniel Edwards, the centre-back, he's a bench option today, being managed in this cup fixture. Avondale have a big game against Melbourne Knights on the weekends. That's a high ball over the top. Cuba's there. Holtz was out in the flash and had to just swing a boot at it. Straying out of his area as he did. Enough to win the throw-in for the Avengers. Cuba running onto it, looking up. Zini! Almost. Tavir! Blocked away. Probably should be 1-0 Avondale. The let off for Manningham. Can they immediately spring up the other end and punish the higher ranked side? Josh Rees. Combined with Wardle. Tavala in there as well, but Manningham forced backwards with Theo Jones. High ball forward, looking for Massa. Carpenter gets ahead on it. Hayden Cross coming through. Everson. Shuck and jive one way, then the other. With Massa, it's poked away from him. Everson frustrated as the Avengers look to transition in a hurry. Kirker poked away from him. Important intervention. Jake Daniel. Danger not cleared. Theo Jones having to intervene, putting it out for a throw-in. Fair back to Carpenter. Bassani. Kalaloo Kamara. Kirker stood up. Makuru. Play on is the call from the referee. Everson comes up with it. Josh Rees digging it over the top. Matter is there, but he was in an offside position. And Mayan will claim it, take the advantage, and Avondale looking to move quickly. Carpenter, South Australian, knocking it upfield for Zini to chase. Stefan Zini against Tavella. Defender does well to force him backwards. Let's take Towns. Shakes off the attention of Cross. Gets it to Kalaloo Kamara. First yellow card of the game. Jack Wardle pleading his case unsuccessfully. And he will now have to be on his best behaviour for the remainder of this game. 15th minute of this contest here at BT Connor Reserve. Scores remain locked at Avondale 0, Manningham 0. Villa sent the pass backwards, and that maybe sold his teammates into a little bit of pressure. Down Cuba. Was there, as well as Stefanzini. Knocking it out for a Manningham throw-in. There's been a cordon erected around it by the Avengers. Carpenter the furthest back. He knocks it forward over the top of Yusuf Achman. Jones goes back to Olds, who boots it forward onto the head of Kalalu Kamara. Look at Tavir, good touch to bring it down. Rides one challenge. Gets it out to Stefanzini. Tavir. Again trying to keep it low, and he's had to hurdle the fence there. And as he jumps back in, his side have a throw-in. Stefanzini. Towns. Wellsmore lets it run all the way through to Kirker. Lots of passes between teammates by the Avengers, but for the most part, they're just taking place in the middle of the park without moving too far forward. Ahmed brought down from behind. Advantage is the call. Zini will give chase, trying to keep it in. Pulls up, and now it will come back. Is it a foul, or if it's offside? There's a bit of consternation about what it is. No, looks like it's going to be offside in the end. The Avengers thought they had a throw-in, so did free kick. So did I must admit. The advantage, however, looked to have passed by the time the ball was played. So Manningham will have it. Jones. Avengers sitting back in a mid-block, waiting for Manningham to bring the ball to them before they spring. Now here they come. Clever by Jones, but he's going to lose his footing. Stefanzini on it in a flash. Cutting inside, laying the shot off. But right off the boot, you could tell just maybe not hit with enough venom. And the ball rolls out for a goal kick. Oh, but the press almost spelling disaster for Manningham. Alesov. Fair play to them. They've tried to play out short again, only to immediately give the ball back. Cuba from the top of the box, flashing it to the left-hand side of the goalpost. Avondale knocking on the door, poking, prodding, searching for that opening goal that would take them through to the last 8 of the Dockerty Cup. And within 90 minutes of a return to the national stages of the Australia Cup, Is this the moment? Kirker plays it back in. Luca Tavir. Wall of red and white is erected in front of him. So go back to Carpenter. Low ball along the turf. Cuba sliding, unable to make contact. Ball knocked forward, but it's over the head of Joshua Rees. I don't know why I said it like that. Josh Rees. Saini. Carpenter. Stefanzini. After a series of near things for Stefanzini, you just know he'll be plotting his next opportunity. The Avondale winger thirsting for a goal. Has scored in Avondale's cup run thus far. As Stefanzini. Here he is on the ball once more. Left foot across, too close to Jordan Olds. Everson. Is it taken away from him by Yitte Towns? Carpenter trying to thread the ball through. Bounces off the chest of Luca Tavir to Stefanzini. Manningham wanted a handball. In the end, controversy avoided as the ball rolls out for a goal kick. Straight down the throat of Yitte Towns. Cuba, Kirker, Yui Ahmed must score. No! Cleared off the goal line. Opted for placement and trickery rather than power. And that afforded Manningham with just enough time to get back and clear the ball away for a corner. Good Lord. Avondale continue to poke, continue to prod. But 22 and a bit minutes into this contest, remain frustrated. Can this corner deliver for them? No! Again! Manningham, who have benefited from an own goal in their cup run, almost giving one up to Avondale, but Olds able to just grab it before it crosses over to the goal line. How long then can they keep this up? Because here come Avondale once again. Few early opportunities for Manningham United. George Massa threatened a few times. Ben Everson popping up as well. But for the most part, they've been on the back foot, trying to keep out this high-powered Avondale unit. Second. NPL Men's Victoria top flight. National second tier, the Championship Foundation side as well. Australia Cup veterans searching for the opening goal. Kirker back onto his left and flashing it wide. Appeals for a corner from Zoran Markowski in the Avondale dugout. Kirker as well. You can see him, palms to the sky. He's certain it took a deflection. Referee disagrees. Nodded on, Everson onto it, and he's going to try to the immediate snapshot. Not the worst idea in the world, because Mayan was off his line. Bit of an awkward position, but just unable to make flash contact with it was Ben Everson, a promotion specialist. And Avondale come up with it. Stefanzini. Lucatavir asking for it and receiving it. Coming together between Rees and Zini. Play on is the call. Attempted pass for Kirker. Picked out. Bakuru. Kamara. He heads it towards Kirker. Moves around a few challenges before going back to Emlyn Wellsmore. Wellsmore bursting forward. And then just losing control of the pass intended for Yete Towns. Zinni, heavy touch, let him down. Carpenter sweeps up for Avondale. Go back to their keeper. Carpenter tried to play the give and go with Luca Tavira. Wasn't fancying it, instead went back to Pisani. Kamara. Wellsmore. Cuba and Yusuf Ahmed both make darting runs. It goes in the direction of the former. Perhaps should have gone to the latter, as it's an offside. Kirker having a discussion with the assistant referee over on that side. One wonders if he's discussing the offside call or if he's still burning around that shot being given a goal kick rather than a corner. As wind's beginning to pick up a bit here in Reservoir. Jones forced back to Olds by Yui Ahmed. Then the wind just grabbing that ball and depositing it onto the head of Stefanzini. Fortunate gust for Avondale, sees them afforded the chance to launch another attack, one that is snuffed out by Manningham. Rees just tried to loop a ball forward. Deflection favours Manningham. Massa though, bundling over his marker. And it's a free kick for Avondale. They were trying to get it to Kazra Karamad, who was coming down the left. Karamad, former Melbourne City youth prospect, one of several out there for either side. Arrived from Moreland City at Petty's Reserve. Coming together behind play here, and that is going to earn Stefanzini a place in the referee's book. You could hear the immediate cries of pain after the collision came in. Avondale, well, they're not pleading the case that Stefanzini should avoid the sanction. More so they're wondering maybe why that one received a yellow card as opposed to others. Probably one of the clearer yellow cards you'll see. Maseo Jones is in conversation with his dugout, doesn't realise that he was told to take the free kick. Trying to do my best to eavesdrop as that ball goes behind Karamad. The centre-back just discussing how Avondale is sitting off, waiting for the Manningham backline to play that first pass before pouncing and pressing and forcing the turnovers. Carpenter, long ball forward behind Cuba. Bounces away from Jake Daniel. Dinked ball over the top. Yusuf Upman is there, but so is Jordan Olds. Not a former City man, Olds, former Victory man. Spent some time with Heidelberg as well. And spent time overseas. And here comes that Avondale press after the first pass. Manningham doing well to initially avoid it, but being able to do so for so long. Massa trying to press and harangue Stefanzini, who went backwards. Wellsmore takes a pausa before sending it to Yitte Towns. Zini, plenty of space to think about what he wants to do. Carpenter trying to thread the eye of a needle. Does he keep the ball in? He did, before it was poked away for an Avondale throw-in. Everson does magnificently well to retain possession. Ben Everson before laying off the pass. Wardle, he lays it on, but Manningham, after all that good work from Everson, can't keep the attack going. Here we go, another opportunity perhaps. Karamad coming under intense pressure, does well to get it to Rees. Carpenter nods it back. Massa, well, he thought about it. Just wondering, is that a ball I can chase down and pinch away before it gets to the goalkeeper? No, it wasn't. As Avondale take it and try to move quickly. Kerr, plenty of space. Laying it off to Luca Tafir. Luca Tafir across the face of goal, and Zini was there, but he fell over his feet before he could lay it back in. And we've got a few minutes without a near miss from Avondale. But there's the latest, that ball dragging across the face of goal and not converted. 33rd minute here at BT Connor Reserve, and the scores remain locked. No goals apiece. Wellsmore. Kerr avoids a couple of challenges before Yitte Towns takes over. Saini gets it from Towns. Looking for Stefanzini. Bounces over him. Consternation once more about whose ball it is. And eventually the decision is going to be an Avondale ball. Manningham tried to take it quickly. Officials were having none of it.
Hayden, you need to in your Hey, you didn't fucking open your mouth. Relax, make a decision.
Well, here we go. Conversations now. And I think Zoran Markowski looked like the card was being flashed in his direction, has gone into the book. Josh Rees, meanwhile, was not, well, he was forthcoming with his feedback as well.
He's doing the same thing.
Meanwhile, paying attention to the actual football again, Carpenter. Oh, shot out by Tavella. Ball intended for Towns. Ite Towns does well to retain it. For the pass. Just a bit wayward in search of Yusuf Akman. Stefanzini trying to turn on the Jets and find a teammate. Sayo Jones got in the road, corner kick. Couple of players, Kirker and Yusuf Ahmed, inside the 6-yard box. Ahmed departs. Joins his teammates waiting around the penalty spot. Ball sent it in the direction of Yusuf Ahmed. Couldn't get to him. Luca Tavir. Very well done, Luca Tavir. Carpenter. Towns. Stefanzini. For Akman. Sliding challenge from Jones. Sends it away. Reese has to go back and get it. Ball up for grabs. Claimed by Manningham. Nice pass in to get it to Everson. Gets it to Mata. Carpenter sliding challenge. And the second one. Putting it out for a throw-in. Tavella's throw. Everson brings it down. Cuba picks his pocket. Kalu Kamara. Cuba. Wellsmore. Kirker's on a run up that right flank. One that isn't rewarded. Towns. Challenged by Reese. Spins away from him. Carpenter. Kalu Kamara. Wellsmore's ball. Searching for Cuba. Doesn't find him.
Work together, push on.
High ball forward over the head of Everson. Bassani launches it into the sky off his bonds. Clever by Wellsmore. Karamat kept in company.
Georgie, stay. Georgie, stay. Right shoulder. Stay low. You can work. Yeah, good, good. Right hand, Georgie.
Carpenter. To Towns. Manningham comes up with the pressure. Towns rides it. Does very well, does the Tasmanian. Kalaloo Kamara with a good ball out to Stefanzini. Carpenter. Cuba let it run for Stefanzini. Cutting it back. Intended for Yui Ahmed, but there, once again, was Jones knocking it out for a corner. For all their possession and territory, Avondale, they remain frustrated in their search of a breakthrough goal in the 40th minute. They have huffed and puffed, but Manningham's house remains standing. Tavir with the latest exhale, sends it in. Zini has it blocked away, appeals for a penalty, and they are heated. The block was made, but it was a block made with the hands. Josh Rees can't believe it. He's still insisting that he blocked it fairly. No VAR in the Dockerty Cup though. So his appeals will fall on deaf ears. And after being frustrated in their attempts to break down Manningham in open play, in the 42nd minute, Yusuf Ahmed will step up to the spot and look to put Avondale ahead. As Jordan Olds to beat. Yusuf Ahmed, the Somalian international. Yeah! 1-0 to Avondale. Cool, calm and collected. Yusuf Ahmed gets the first goal of his Dockerty Cup campaign. Avondale sharing them around thus far. He's now the 7th individual goal scorer for the Avengers across their 2 and a bit Dockerty Cup games. And on the balance of play, very difficult to argue that it's not a lead heading into the half-time break that Avondale don't deserve. So Avondale 1, Manningham United 0. As they look to spring forward quickly and maybe provide the immediate counter-punch and ensure this game goes into the half-time break tied up. Kalaloo Kamara had pressure in his face. The Avengers keep their cool, move the ball around. Well, at least for a little bit. As Manningham's pressure continues to ask questions. You see Hayden Cross has come up to support the likes of Ben Everson and George Matter. Carpenter. Towns. Look at Tavir. Trying to feed the ball through for Yusuf Ahmed. Deflected away. Everson. battling for the ball. And eventually the third defender wins it for Avondale. Cuba's ball forward. Stefanzini gives chase, but he gave chase from an offside position. Jordan Olds was out to meet him to provide that extra layer of protection. It wasn't needed as the flag was raised. Luca Tavir was working there against Tavella, who thought he had the throw in. The Avondale players quick to let him know that no, it's ours. There's 1 minute of added time will be played here at the end of the first half at BT Connor Reserve. The score is Avondale 1, Manningham United 0. As we approach the main break, Yusuf Ahmed from the penalty spot in the 42nd minute, providing the difference between the two sides. Almost panic stations for Avondale, but they are able to shut it down. Kalu Kamara, well, he's going to come under pressure from Josh Rees. He's able to shrug him off. Now the ball played in front of Kerr, but getting across. Jake Daniel, and that will prove the final exchange of this opening 45 minutes. An opening stanza in which the hosts, Avondale, they had the better of it, as you would expect from a side second in the Victorian top flight, playing against a team from the tier below. But Manningham United have proven stout, proven resolute. The Avengers' lone goal coming from the penalty spot, not open play. Jones, in particular, at centre-back, has impressed for Manningham. And with that deficit, still just the one, every chance that we'll only need one break, one transition, one moment of magic for this game to be locked up once more. We will await the second half to see if that does indeed take place, or Avondale are able to kick away. That will come in about 15 minutes or so. You'll have the countdown clock for company until then, but be sure to join us on the other side on the Football Victoria YouTube page.
Jordan. Jordan. First 5 minutes, okay? Make it easy.
Welcome back, one and all, for the second half of this round of 16 Dockerty Cup encounter between Avondale FC and Manningham United. And if you are just joining us after the halftime break, as one might expect, it is the higher ranked side in the league in this one. Second in the NPL wins Victoria, Avondale leading NPL 1 outfit Manningham United 1-0. That coming from Yusuf Ahmed from the penalty spot in the 42nd minute. Manningham, the Blues, they've made 2 changes at the half-time break. Jordan Validas coming onto the park, as has Ayuba Khanna, replacing players Kulu and Josh Reeves. As they did for
Immediately moving to claim possession. Coach Zoran Markovski's side, they do love to monopolise the ball. However, Manningham have been rather resolute in their defensive efforts. As mentioned, it was only from the penalty spot that their rear guard was broken. And once again, Avondale coming forward with a bit of intent, only to have their attack peter out. And it will instead be a goal kick to Manningham. Apologies if there are any audio issues at the top of the second half. Hopefully you can hear me now. Hopefully you've been able to hear me the whole time, to be honest, but that's a suitable alternative if not. As Avondale springing forward. And one Wellsmore getting the ball from Luca Tavir. Kirker in there, spinning. Getting it to Yitte Towns.
Towns laying it off. A second goal, surely, yes! Stefan Zini finishes off a move instigated and created by the skipper, Yitte Towns. And Avondale, they had to
Wait, plenty in that opening for the breakthrough. Didn't take much time
at all for the second.
And here at BT Connor Reserve, Avondale FC appear on their way to the last 8 of the Dockerty Cup, leading Manningham United 2-0, thanks to Stefan Zini in the 48th minute. And now, well, Manningham had to win the ball back quickly because Avondale
Get a third quick succession instead. Manning
knocking the ball forward, but win it back. Wardle poked it away. Manningham battling. Just unable to connect with each other. Yusuf Ahmed dropping to receive. Kalalu Kamara. Kirker just has it bounce away from his attempt to control with the outside of that left boot. Will be an Avondale ball. Of course, this not the only Australia Cup game Dockerty Cup game taking place tonight. We had 3 games last week, in fact. Northcote, VPL 1 side, upsetting top tier Melbourne Knights 3-2. Hume City usurping the Oakley Cannons 3-2 out in Broadmeadows, and then Heidelberg United doing it comfortably in the end against FC Clifton Hill. As Ute Towns tries to slide the ball through, Deletus on the park, trying to hold up and slow down Cuba. Everson can't hold the ball, he wants a free kick. Meanwhile, Stefan Zini looking for a second. Slightly haphazard touch in the box, sees it moved away from him. Carpenter, his cross took a deflection. Manningham clear it. Avondale now with that 2-0 lead. Other games around the grounds. Dandenong Thunder. Spoiler alert, the Dandenong Thunder, they're also up 2-0 over Whittlesea United. So we'll briefly pause as Manningham try to get something going down the right. Winning a throw-in the end. Dandenong City, they're down 2-0 against Brunswick City in their clash out in the Melbourne Southeast at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex. So a potential cup set brewing in Endeavour Hills. Nunawading City holding a 3-1 lead over North Sunshine Eagles. As that's going to be an offside, and you can probably see there illuminated against the floodlights here at BT Connor Reserve. The rain properly beginning to hammer down on these players. And the other game happening around the grounds, another cup set brewing. Pascavale, who are not having the best of the seasons in the 3rd tier of Victorian football, VPL 2. They lead South Melbourne 1-0. Goal in the 18th minute, putting Paco ahead. Of course, a former top-tier side, Paco. They have been a bit of a mover and shaker over the years. Excellent juniors program. And now looking to upset South Melbourne. Cup action taking place in northern New South Wales as well. The Broadmeadow Magic, thanks to a 16th minute strike from William Ingram, up 1-0 over Valentine FC. Action also happening up in New South Wales in league play. New South Wales NPL 1. St George leading Sydney FC's youth. There's Canner. Just has to come off after receiving a bit of treatment. He's a goal scorer, the Manningham number 7. He's got 5 goals in 9 appearances for the campaign. Has scored in back-to-back league fixtures for Manningham, as mentioned in the first half. Manningham entering this game unbeaten in their last 5 league games, as Ayuba Canna receives permission to return to the game. Manningham sitting 8th as it currently stands in the Victorian second tier. 5 wins, 6 draws, 4 losses. Goal difference of -3. Everson, sharp turn. Knocks it out to the flank. George Matt is going to give chase to this one. Has Blake Carpenter for company. And Blake Carpenter, who, as mentioned, getting his first minutes of the campaign. Comes across with a sliding challenge. I wonder if he's going to be on any sort of pitch count, Blake Carpenter. And it will be managed by Zoran Markovski. He's got Daniel Edwards, Manny Agwek, Christian Trajeski, Jackson Courtney Perkins and Joey Katabian as outfielders on the bench that he can call upon. Tom Manos, the number 1, being rested for the cup. He's available should something befall Mayan. A couple of changes already made by Manningham, leaves Luke Del Vecchio as their backup keeper. As we'll take you through the other subs once this attack peters out for Avondale, if indeed it does peter out. Cuba. Back to Wellsmore. Kalu Kumara. The other subs for Manningham United: James Tuntis, Barisa Degal, and Luka Jakoviti. The visitors staring down a 2-0 deficit. And you'd think have to spring into action pretty quickly if they are going to salvage something from this game, and with it salvage their cup ambitions for 2025. Avondale, of course, with their ambitions, you know, they'll be eyeing not just a Dockerty Cup run, but also a return to the national stages of the Australia Cup. It's a stage we've seen them strut so often before since the Cup's introduction. Seeing the likes of Liam Boland's make an impact for them. Well, several players still on the books, of course. Joey Katabian, Yusuf Ahmed, Yate Towns, the all-time appearance record holder for the club. And they'd love opportunities to get out on the national stage before another one arrives at the end of this year, when they'll serve as one of the foundation sides in the Australian Championship. Everson for Manningham. Can he wind up? Ben Everson hit with venom, but it was rising off the boot and rose enough to clear the fencing behind the goals here at BT Connor Reserve, and a replacement ball will be called from. Some poor soul is going to have to venture out into the night to fetch that one. And the goal kick is taken short as Avondale resume hostilities. Kalalu Kamara. Long ball forward. Kirker's in the vicinity for Avondale, as see one of the ground marshals. Looks like he will be that poor soul that has to go and get that ball. Meanwhile, Stefanzini charging forward with malicious intent, looking for the byline. Goes around one sliding challenge and backed himself. Forced a strong save from Jordan Olds. Well, the wind has picked up as well, so the rain starting to move slightly sideways. Conditions just that little bit more difficult for the players. Cuba ran into a bit of a cul-de-sac down there in that corner. Retains enough wherewithal to ensure his side would retain possession. Cleared away by Manningham, but only as far as Yate Towns. Yui Ahmed poked it along, but it's taken back by the side in red and white this evening. Looked to spring forward quickly, but just a bit of miscommunication. The ball goes long off the boot of Karamad. Frustration immediately evident when he saw that it was going to nobody in particular, and Avondale, in the form of Stefanzini, will look to come forward once more down this left flank. Stefanzini turning on the jets, looking for the cutback. Will beat the first man. And then the shot from Cuba, saved well. Jordan Olds falling to his left. Keeps the deficit to 2. Potentially keeps Manningham's hopes of an unlikely comeback alive. Third, even at this relatively early stage of the second stanza. You'd have to think, with the amount of possession and territory that Avondale have had over the course of the evening, a third around the hour mark could prove potentially back-breaking as we see Manningham preparing a further 2 changes perhaps, or just the one. That will be 2, it looks like. Dockerty and Tuntus both shedding their bibs, making their way over to the touchline, but they'll have to watch on, unable to intervene as Stefanzini tries to charge forward once more. George Massa does ever so well though, the youngster. Mentioned the youngest ever senior representative of Manningham United winning that battle. It's Stefanzini, a veteran of the NPL Victoria scene, a man who's held a contract in the A-League men in the past. Ball in, Mayan. Had to go up and get it. Players were arriving when he made the climb. It was Dockerty and Tuntus waiting for their summons. Just have to sort of stand there in the wet and the wind and take it until they get a chance to run around and warm up. Saini. Ibakana was there providing a bit of pressure, but that's fine sliding challenge. Came in from Karamad. Everson sends it behind Massa. He'll give chase, but Carpenter has the angle. Gets it to Yitte Towns, who, as ever, is poised in possession. Manningham not allowing Avondale to play out from the back without a fight. Jones, who was excellent throughout the first half for Manningham, coming out to apply the tackle, and that will augur a change. So Hayden Cross will be one of the players making way. Karaman, the other. There's Tuntus and Dockerty into the fray. Dockerty looks like he's moving into the left side. Tuntus more central. Yusuf Ahmed surrounded, unable to force his way through with possession. Deletus playing it forward, looking for Ibakana. And it'll be a free kick. Kalalu Kamara. Clever footwork from Emlyn Wellsmore. Avondale preparing a couple of changes on their bench as well. Joey Katabian preparing to enter the fray, as is Christian Trajeski. So very handy additions off the bench for Coach Zoran Markowski. Katavian, one of those aforementioned veterans of glorious cup runs past of Avondale. Been at the club quite a while, has Katavian. Over 150 appearances in the NPL Men's Victoria, some of those admittedly with Melbourne Victory. He's been at Avondale since 2017. He signed with after leaving the Brisbane Raw. Kalalu Kamara will be one of the players making way. Luca Tavir the other. So it looks like Yite Towns will move into a centre-back role as Kamara makes way. So Katabian and Trajeski moving into the midfield. Luca Tavir, especially, as we've come to expect from him. A difference maker once more in the midfield for Avondale, the 23-year-old. Really one of the best players on the park on a regular basis for Avondale. Kirker, who's dropped very deep. And for all their possession as of late, Avondale, they aren't moving the ball onto Manningham's side of the field with much regularity in these last few exchanges. Good discipline, good shape displayed by the visitors. See there, Yusuf Ahmed was in fits just trying to find a teammate just outside his own penalty area. Trajeski rides the challenge from Jones. Play on is the call, potentially advantage. Crossfield pass for Stefan Zini, but the flag is raised. Well, we talked about how Stefan Zini will have been plotting how to find the back of the net. Desperate for a goal. He got that. But you can still see there the appetite for more. Well and truly with Stefan Zini, who with that strike in the 48th minute becomes the first multiple goal scorer for Avondale in this cup run. He's now got 2. Everson around the corner, only as far as Carpenter. Towns had to get rid of it in a hurry, found Kirker. Jones applying the pressure on him. Play on is the call. Before Jones is bundled over by Joey Katabian. Free kick to Manningham. Manningham coming down the right. A lot of space to operate in over there. Can they work the ball in and find someone? Everson, the most likely recipient on the penalty spot. Drop in now to receive. Get in the ball. Clever first time pass and then the shot off. But it's saved well. Getting down and just getting a leg in front of it was Mayan. Jakoviti, the second half substitute with the effort. Probably Manningham's most dangerous actual attempt of the game. They've got the ball into promising areas at times. Nothing that's really given Mayan too much reason to quicken his pulse. And they'll continue to hold on to their 2-0 lead. And at this stage, with just over 20 minutes remaining in the contest, looks like they are going to set up a meeting with the Dandenong Thunder in the quarterfinals of the Dockerty Cup. One of those two sides, the Dandenong Thunder or Avondale, thus would represent Victoria in the Australia Cup national stages as Cuba bursting into the penalty area, but was offside when he began his run. Indeed, elsewhere around the grounds, Dandenong Thunder 2-0 leaders over Whittlesea United. Brunswick City hold on to their 2-0 lead over Dandenong City. Per the old SOFA score app, Nunawading City have the lead over the North Sunshine Eagles, 3-1, and Pascoe continue to lead South Melbourne in that contest. So if those results held, it would be Brunswick City versus Pascoe in the next round, which would guarantee us a team from outside the Victorian top flight, again, would represent the state in the Australia Cup national stages. Of course, we saw the run of Melbourne Serbia in last year's Cup, knocking off the Modbury Jets in the round of 32 before running into Hume City in the round of 16. Took a Victorian team to beat a Victorian team in the end. Not that I'm biased or anything. As it stands, the other games would be Nunawading City at present, up against Hume City. Is that ball sails teasingly in front of Stefan Zini. Northcote City will face Heidelberg United. That game already locked in. So some strong sides marching through, looking like they'll present a fine conclusion to the Dockerty Cup, as well as represent Victoria well in the national stages. Heidelberg United leading the NPL Men's Victoria. Avondale second. Hume City, who have established themselves as Cup specialists since the Australia Cup's introduction. Meanwhile, we're getting a couple of changes as well. Kirker will make way for Maniagwak. Jackson Courtney Perkins, he's set to come on as well. And Yusuf Ahmed, well, he's probably had enough of the cold and the wet and the winds, because he hasn't even come to the dugout. He's just gone straight up the race. Hopefully, that's all it is, and he hasn't picked up any kind of knock. Dandenong Thunder, looking set to advance through as well, having a great season in the league, albeit, well, I hope I haven't jinxed them, because on the old Sofa Score app, Whittlesea United have got one back. Just 2-1 to the Dandenong Thunder in that game. Well, the cliche is that the 2-0 lead is the most dangerous one in football. That will be one that Manningham United, with time rapidly running out, will hope to tap into. Did cop the early goal, did Manningham, but they've certainly taken the fight to the Avengers in this second stanza. Absolutely nothing to be shamed about with this performance from the VPL1 outfit this evening. It's just a couple of weeks ago that Avondale were beating high-powered Oakley 3-0. As we're going to get a booking here, are we? It looks like yes. Just that coming together. Jakoviti, I think it was, going into the book. Up in northern New South Wales, the Magic continue to lead Valentine FC, and St George continue to lead Sydney FC's youth up in New South Wales. Header flicked on, but nobody there in Avondale colours to meet it. Jack Danielle collecting. Deletus getting it to Jones, who's gone out to the flank in this second stanza with Deletus' introduction. Everson just able to find a teammate before Stefan Zini poked it away. Massa. Marshall towards the touchline. And giving possession back to Avondale and Blake Carpenter. So just about 15 minutes of regulation remaining here on the scoreboard at BT Connor Reserve. Avondale leading 2-0, and they won't get an opportunity to make it 3 there as Trajeski straying into an offside position. Christian Trajeski, he's got 3 goals in league play thus far. Goal against South Melbourne back in round 12, his last one. Still looking to open his account in the Dockerty Cup. Carpenter poking the ball to Stefanzini, who sends it back. Bassani to Towns, who's moved to centre back after the substitution of Kamara. Wellsmore, well, his teammate into a bit of trouble there, but Jackson Courtney Perkins was up to the task. Katabian trying to build up a head of steam, and he's knocked it forward. Will the flag stay down at will? Is this the moment for 3? It is the moment for 3. One of the most lethal finishers in Victorian football. Manningham surely punches Avondale's ticket through to the next stage. Through to the quarterfinals of the Dockerty Cup, within a game of the Australia Cup's national stages. Avondale, they're going to win this game. Up 3-0, 15 minutes to go. And I think Manny Agwek marked the occasion by doing the gritty. I'm not that much older than Manny Agwek, but still. Wouldn't catch me doing that. But then again, I'm nowhere near as talented as he is either. So, swings and roundabouts. So just over 10 minutes remaining here at BT Connor Reserve. Avondale now with a 3-0 lead over Manningham United. Elsewhere around the grounds, Dandenong Thunder 2-1 leaders over Whittlesea United. The winner of that game to face what we now could be almost certain will be Avondale. Appeals for a handball, waved away. Tuntus trying to crash through. Tuntus retaining possession, and in the end, winning a corner for his side. Well done for the substitute. Elsewhere at Lakeside, South Melbourne, staring down the precipice of elimination. They continue to trail Pascoe, 1-0. Out at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex, Dandenong City have pegged one back. They now trail Brunswick City 2-1. Nick Tolios' side. As this corner is swung in, but it's not the greatest. Finds the side netting. Meanwhile, well, looks like we've had another goal out at North Sunshine Eagles, Nunawading Sissy. And it's Nunawading Sissy in the 48th minute, according to the old sofa score app. They now lead 4-1 in that contest. Surely, let's see Nunawading punching their tickets to the next stage. Maybe it's fitting, really, Nunawading City. They got that mural of Ange Postecoglou up on the wall. Maybe we should have known they'd get a win in the same week that Ange won the Europa League with Spurs. Nunawading, I believe, according to the draw, Nunawading defeating North Sunshine would ensure that they host Hume City in their encounter. So down at Mahoney's Reserve, Nunna will get the chance to knock off Hume City and progress to the semi-finals of the Dockerty Cup and the national stages of the Australia Cup. Ball is thrown in by Manningham. Everson, who's worked hard all night, said even though the scoreline is 3-0, you can't fault the effort, some of the determination and organisation of Manningham. They frustrated an incredibly talented Avondale for large sections of this game. Stefanzini on the ball, bursting down the left. He's got plenty of room to run into. Stefanzini thought about the shot, looking for the byline, just run out of real estate. And he's going to have to make do with the corner. And well, ladies and gentlemen, from Lakeside with 10 minutes to go, South Melbourne have equalised. So it's now South Melbourne 1, Pascoe 1. Updates coming through. So South Melbourne, they got a win over Melbourne Knights last Friday night. Trying to ride that momentum to a win in the Cup. Of course, they got a huge game against Melbourne Victory Youth on Sunday as well. That one, a bit of a relegation 6-pointer in the end. Both sides battling to move clear of the drop zone. Cuba for Avondale. Relegation, not something Avondale have to worry about. They're more concerned with trying to supplant Heidelberg atop the table. It was Joey Katavian running around there for the Avengers. He was part of that Melbourne Victory side that was last in the Victorian top flight all those years ago. That team relegated pretty comfortably in the end. This current Melbourne Victory outfit were widely tipped to struggle to survive the drop, especially with it now being 3 teams that go down, but they're battling. And they'll have a chance to take a good step towards survival against the side what very few would have anticipated would have been in this position when the season started, South Melbourne, on the weekends. Meanwhile, Manningham coming forward. Going to get maybe a consolation at this point. Not going to do so, Maniagway. He's going to knock it in behind. Courtney Perkins was in his own half when the ball was played, so the flag stay down. Good awareness from Jordan Olds. Let's put the ball out for a throw-in. So the score remains Avondale 3, Manningham 0. 84th minute here at BT Connell Reserve. Can't imagine we'll get too much added time at the end of this one. Courtney Perkins lets it run. Trajeski. The flag stays down. Trajeski looking up. He's going to drag it across. And it's going to be fired home for a fourth. Cuba and Stefan Zinni were there. I think it was Zinni who got the last touch. He gets a brace on the evening. His 3rd goal of the cup run. It was a fiendishly clever feint by Courtney Perkins, who was in an offside position, but he let it run. enabling Christian Trajeski to pick the ball up, advance into the penalty area, and then he basically had his pick of options. He could have gone himself. He had teammates arriving. In the end, he opts to do the unselfish thing, drag it back. And it secures a 4th goal for Avondale. And in the end, going to cruise to a comfortable win in this Dockerty Cup clash. Six minutes to go or so in this one. 6 minutes to go. And at George Andrews Reserve, as the Dandenong Thunder continue to hold on to their 2-1 lead. Hold on to that lead that will set up a meeting with Avondale in the quarterfinals, which I believe will be hosted by the Avengers, based on the results of the round 6/round 7 draw conducted by Football Victoria. So that one should be a real barn burner of a contest, really. Two sides flying high in the NPL Men's Victoria. Two sides that would love the chance to strut their stuff on the national stages of the Australia Cup. "85 minutes also gone at Lakeside. That one still 1-1. South Melbourne with the 81st minute equaliser against Paco. Meanwhile, Courtney Perkins, he's advancing into the penalty area. Could we see a 5th before time expires? It'll be a corner for Avondale. This free scoring unit. Christian Trajeski already has 1 assist since coming on. He's brought down. Avondale insistent they should have a penalty. Now, what's going to be the decision here? Is the referee going to consult with his assistant? That looks to be what we might be seeing. Yes, it's not quite VAR, but it is a bit of consultation. Trajeski immediately got up appealing for a penalty, and I believe it has been rewarded. Or is it a goal kick? I'm not sure. The referee's coming over here. No, he's coming over here to book James Tuntis. I think it was Tuntis. Katabian maybe he's been booked. I think that... oh. So there we go, bit of excitement. A few slices of cheese thrown up by the referee, and after all that, Stefan Zini will have a chance for a hat-trick, as well as Avondale's 5th from the penalty spot. They opened the scoring through Yusuf Ahmed from the spot in the 42nd minute, and they've added a 5th from the penalty spot here in the final stages of this game. Yusuf Ahmed first up, Stefan Zini second up from the spot, and Zini has his hat-trick. So Trajeski, talk about an impact sub, came on, grabbed an assist for Stefan Zini's second, and now he's won the penalty that Stefan Zini has converted for his 3rd. Stefan Zini probably owes him a beer or some sort of equivalent. Everson looking up, spearing it out to the left. Tuntis brought it down. It was well marshalled. Everson, clever flick around the corner. Low, bouncing ball in, cleared away by Avondale, who's going to look to transition down this right flank. There's acres of space if they can get it there. Instead, they're going to knock it forward. Stefan Zini himself has bags of time. He's going to go himself, force the save, the follow-up. Slid out by Jones, I think it was, and it's going to be a corner. So let's tick up to 90 minutes on the scoreboard here at BT Connor Reserve. Avondale leading 5-0, 4 second half goals, propelling them to a comfortable win over Manningham United. Swung in towards the near post. Manningham was lurking. And there will be no need for stoppage time on this wet and windy night at BT Connor Reserve. An evening that has seen Avondale progress through to the quarterfinals of the Dockerty Cup within one game of the national stages of the Australia Cup after defeating Manningham United 5-0. It took a while for Coach Zoran Markovski's side to find the breakthrough. But once they did, the goals began to flow, getting their first of the second stanza in the 48th minute and then piling it on from there. Avondale moving onwards as we look around the grounds, likely to face the Dandenong Thunder, who are leading 2-1, heading into the 90th minute of their game. Elsewhere around the grounds, looks like we might be set for extra time at Lakeside. South Melbourne versus Pascoe locked at 1-1. Dandenong City versus Brunswick City, 15 minutes to go in that one. Brunswick City leading 2-1. Nunawading City up 4-1 over North Sunshine after an hour. You can catch all of those fixtures on the Football Victoria YouTube page. This game's over. You can now flick over to the South Melbourne, Pascoe, Dandy City, Brunswick, or North Sunshine, Nunawading if you fancy. You can catch the quarterfinals of the Dockerty Cup on the Football Victoria YouTube page as well. You can catch every game of the NPL Men's Victoria, NPL Women's Victoria season on the NPL Victoria YouTube page, live and free. Be a friend, tell a friend, get them subscribed to that page as well. But for now, from BT Connor Reserve, the final score, Avondale 5, Manningham United 0. Thanks and success.
That was about 30 minutes of the biggest pad job you'll ever see.